Yes. Good day to you all. Welcome to another session, another time, another space. Today, ask Dr. B.
I allow myself to be my best self, to be creative, and to let go.
Welcome, everyone. Apologize for being a little late, but I guess all time is a good time. We had a few technical difficulties and challenges, is what happens in life. Whenever you're moving towards a goal, there will be opposition. You're listening to I Allow, featuring Azare and Dr. B Serious.
I allow myself to live an elevated life, to stay focused and clear, always moving towards a goal. I allow myself to let go and to learn to live and to grow. I allow myself time and space. I allow. I allow myself to feel, to express myself, and to use the talents that I possess. I allow myself to make love out of the things that are not love. I allow myself to be a creative, live in the moment. I allow. Yes, 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 yes. I allow. When you are in the space of allowance, you let it happen because everything is happening all at once. And it's about what we choose to let go of resistance to. So if we have goals, those goals have already existed in your mind. Any goal that you have, if you can think it, it's happening in another dimension. Everything we think about, everything we desire and dream about is happening in another dimension. Some call it an alternate dimension. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover some of these concepts, especially as it relates to herbs. Give me a second. I need to get another camera rolling. Trying something new today. When's the last time you've tried something new? So bear with me as I get this camera working. There we go. There we go. So I'd like to say thank you for being here. Thank you for all of you who have shown up on the planet and who are in the state of allowance. You know, when we were young, if we were really good, we might get an allowance. We might. But that was something that we were allowed to have because we were moving in the right direction, and as a way of our parents or elders giving us something to inspire us to do better and to grow and to learn a little bit about money. But when we are trying and trying and trying to do something, sometimes we're working a little too hard. But what we desire already exists in a different dimension. And it's we weren't taught this when we were young, that this is a multiverse. So there's many different versions of Earth. There's many different versions of you and of I. And a lot of times when things change suddenly, what's happening is we are having a timeline shift. We're moving from one timeline to another, like train tracks. We can jump timelines. We do it all the time when something changes, and that change changes everything. Something can happen today. Well, actually, something will happen today that will change what we're going to call tomorrow. But tomorrow is actually today happening now. So I call it tomorrow. So when we allow, we let it in. We let the best things happen. Many of the best things we desire, we are in our own mindset are blocking because of how we think, how we see, how we were programmed not to see. So there's a lot of things that we just don't see, but they're there. So let's be careful with our words, your thoughts. Be careful to allow yourself to be your best self, to look at the things that are not love and turn them into love. I'd like to thank all of you for being here today. If you're here for the first time, please put that you're here for the first time in the chat and let us know where you came from. If you've been here before, let us know. You know how long you've been coming, how long you've been arriving, how long you've been, traveling with us here at Elevation. Elevation Foundation for Abundant Life was started about 23 years ago. Actually, in the year 2023. How many years ago is that? That's actually 24, maybe almost 25 years ago. We started on Pico Boulevard in Los Angeles, and we created one of the number one natural health boutiques in Los Angeles. And then about 2012, we went online, and that's where we exist now. So if you are somebody who remembers us from Pico Boulevard, put it in the chat and say, hey, I remember you guys on Pico. We'd like to thank all of you newcomers, wherever you are in the world right now. The message today is love. And love is in the earth. Love grows with the herbs, with the plants. Love is when you love yourself enough to pick something from what nature gives that's going to give you love. Many of the foods and even some of the medicines that we use today are not based in love. They're based in finance. They're based in covering up symptoms. And what herbs do is many times, depending on what the herb is, we're going down to deal with the root of the issue. The root of the issue is where it started. In order to make a tree grow great fruit, you've got to feed the root. You've got to put nutrients in the soil that's going to make that plant, that herb, grow and have a great output. It's in the leaves. So to start, our lives, we need to look at the root. The root. The root is where everything starts. Feed the root, and we're going to have beautiful fruit. So the root of you is the part of you that is deep inside that a lot of us, we sometimes kind of skate, and we call it the shadow. It's the dark side. It's the old stuff. It's down in the basement. But we must have courage and allow ourselves to go down into that basement and find out what's there. What is in that basement? What is at the root of our issues? And one of the biggest issues that we have is what we've eaten, the air that we're breathing, that it challenges us. The chemicals in the soil, the chemicals in our clothing, the chemicals in food. A lot of foods are fake. Even a lot of what we call vegan foods are basically, I shouldn't say they're fake because they're real, but they're basically manipulated substances. Even in what we call vegan and in your best foods and in your health food stores, you've got to read labels. Very important to read labels. So thank you for being here, and give yourself permission to be open and learn something new. Today, we're going to cover some herbs, and then we're going to do a Q&A if you have questions about health. I'm in no way going to be able to answer all the questions, but I will do my very best to answer some questions. I'm not a medical doctor. I am not a, trained person from the 3-letter organizations, the FDA and the AMA. And I'm not that kind of doctor. I'm a doctor. So it's Doctah, be serious. Most of what I've learned from, personal research and evidence, and working on myself and my family and friends. And, I started this whole journey many, many years ago doing research. And research is a funny thing because sometimes we feel like, the research we did, this is it. This is the truth. Well, there's truth. Then there's another layer, and then there's another layer, and there's another layer. And we keep hearing that herbs, herbs are all that. And you read the herb books. And the interesting thing I notice about the herb books is a lot of them are repeating the same formulas, the same herbs, and they say this herb does that. For instance, olive leaf. Olive leaf is one of the first natural antibiotics in North America, I should say. And you hear about how great it is, but there's another piece to it. Under that truth is which olive leaf. It's got to be the North African olive leaf. If you're looking for the incredible healing abilities, it's going to be that one, because that olive grows in very harsh and dry environment. It's very dry. It's arid. Morocco, in that area, those olive plants there have been through a lot. They are survivalists. They pull in energy from the universe based on where they are, on the earth, and their medicinal qualities are higher than the other olive leaf extracts. Even the olives themselves, the olive oil, the best olive oil to me is going to be the one that comes from North Africa. The olive leaf that I use mostly is going to be the Moroccan olive leaf. Now it's going to cost a little more. You're going to have to invest a little deeper in your pocket to get some of the higher quality things in life. But keep in mind, I know we want to save money, but there's times when you're going through an illness or a challenge and you'd like to get your body healthier, you're going to have to reach a little deeper sometimes and go for the best and the high quality. So today, this is going to be an Ask Dr. B session. I'm going to cover some herbs, as I've said. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to take a minute and basically, a moment of silence for those who are going through pain right now, who are going through challenge, who are going through fear. Folks have lost a lot of friends and relatives lately. People are making transitions. There's terrible storms and events happening and wars. And, we've got folks being deported, folks being imported, folks being, going through a lot right now. Now let's take a moment of silence and just, be quiet and breathe and just focus on your breath and send out good energy to anyone who right at this particular moment is going through change and challenge. Let's just breathe. Okay. There's a lot of power in each of us, in our thoughts, in our intentions, our words, our actions. And once we begin to respect how connected we are and how powerful we are, that's when things begin to change. We are the alchemists. We are doing the transmutation, changing things. So, as we just did a moment of silence and sent some energy out, someone, somewhere, many people felt it. There are folks who need it right now. There's folks in hospitals, folks are getting news of someone going through challenges, or we ourselves are going through challenges. But when we connect together, just in a moment of silence through our busy days, and just think a good thought, send waves, thousands and thousands and thousands of love, peace, harmony, wellness, and prosperity. It goes a long way because we're all connected on this one little ball they call Earth or Gaia. So let's talk some herbs. We realize that herbs are some of the original medicines. They are the original medicines, not just herbs, but water, plants in general, and also minerals are medicines. And the word medicine means measurement. The word medicine means measurement. So when we say we need medicine, well, we need measurement. Sometimes it's having less of something, right? So maybe fasting or something like that can be medicine, or changing the way you do things, your rhythm, your thought, doing some exercises, some stretching. This is all medicine. There are natural medicines and then there's unnatural medicines. And some of the unnatural medicines, some of the prescriptions, which, I'm not totally against in emergencies. In an emergency, you may need a prescription. I'm not against, the way modern medicine is able to diagnose illness. I actually have a lot of clients and, peers who are medical doctors. So we don't disrespect them and disregard what they do. We just say that there's a place for natural medicine also, which is the original traditional medicine. So we take herbs, because we're looking to supplement our lives, because most of the food that we eat in North America, it no longer has the mineral content. A lot of it no longer has the nutritional value that it may have had in older times and back in the day, as they call it, because of the soil. The soil is not as fertile. A lot of the topsoil in North America has been washed away. So unless you're getting your vegetables and your foods from farmers, natural farmers who actually are replenishing the minerals in the soil, then a lot of times the soil may be vacant. It may not have the vitamin and mineral and phyto mineral content or phytochemical content that food used to have. So supplementing is when we're adding something, giving measurement, giving the minerals and the life force, adding that to what we're eating so that we can have food that is going to be infused with herbs and minerals. And the main thing that the body needs is minerals, minerals, minerals. Now, minerals along with vitamins and, what we call phytochemicals, which are natural chemicals that are in plants. This is what our body's looking for. It needs that. It uses it as fuel. So I have been a herbalist for many years. I guess what they call me now is a master herbalist. And I look at this herbal thing, which, a lot of people are into herbs today. A lot of folks call themselves herbalists, and that's great. A lot of folks have done a lot of research, and, much love goes out to all those folks who are creating medicines and, natural medicines and plant medicines and doing the nutritional research and helping folks. And someone asked me one day, said, well, what makes what you do different? I said, well, I'm not sure. But one of the things that I do is I use plants sometimes that a lot of folks may not be thinking about. I use plants that are not all of them, but many of the plants are from places around the world where the mineral content is better in the soil. The energy is different. The sunlight is different. The rain is different. The water is different. And by using, plants in some of their original, because a lot of plants have been moved around. Agriculture, the word agriculture means to move things around, aggregate, move them around. So a lot of the plants that have super amounts of, herbal medicine, or I should say, healing abilities, they're best where they grow, their origin, where they came from originally. So like I mentioned olive leaf earlier, I'm not saying that the North American olive leaf isn't good. I'm saying it is nowhere as good as the original that came from, North Africa. So I use plants that come from places, that where they originate. I also use plants that are not in the mainstream. A lot of them are they're not known in the mainstream. You don't find some of these in herbal books. You might maybe in some of the new herbal books, but a lot of the herbal books were, written by, there's one person who basically came up with most of the knowledge that we use today in almost every herbal book. It's really interesting how the books and the knowledge just gets repeated, over and over, and they keep talking about the same plants. But there are others. There are others that folks may not have, written about, or you may not know about, or you may not have heard about. So today we're going to talk about 3 of those plants that I use that are very, 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 very amazingly healing, and they go deep. Their essence and their vibration is so strong, and the vibration or the energy field around your plants is very important. Very important. The energy field. We also are going to look at not just the physical attributes of these 3 plants. We're also going to look at the energetic, or what they call spiritual attributes. Okay. And then after that, we're going to take some questions just about health in general. All right. So let's go. One of my favorite plants is called mulungu. Mulungu, also known as corkwood tree, flor decor. Erythina verna. Erythina mulungu marked X Beneth. Look at it. It's important to see the visual representation of the plant. And when you see them, certain plants have a sacred geometry within them. They have a code in just the way they look. This is how a lot of the ancient people were able to recognize certain herbal medicines, was based on the look of it, based on the vibe of it. And also they might have noticed what birds, what animals, were eating and things like that. But this particular one, it's amazing. Mulungu. Now, Mulungu is a native of Brazil and other regions of South America, right? Especially in the Amazon basin. This, what it does for the nervous system is amazing. It's magical. It's actually mystical. It's a natural tranquilizer and a nervous system relaxant. It also helps to balance the nervous system, recoat the nerves, because a lot of folks are going through nervous challenges right now. The nervous system, the tree of life of the body, is under lots of stress, just mentally, and even the foods that a lot of folks are eating are actually working against their nervous system because of the way the plants were grown. They cause the body to go into stress. Some of your food, just from eating it, can cause a stress response in the body because of what the plant went through, how it got to you, where it was grown, who grew it, what was the mindset and the energy field of the people who actually, harvested those plants. So a lot of folks today, it's about, survival. I got to make it. So they're moving quick. They're moving fast. And we find that some of the even herbal products are grown in ways which are basically, created under stress, grown under stress. That's very important to know, because even when you're taking your natural medicines, we've got to put energy on the foods. We've got to put energy, what they call a grace, a prayer, a meditation over your foods, whether they're herbal foods or whatever. Take a space and re-energize it in your mind. This particular plant is used in rituals, it's been used in, I'm going to go back to how it recoats the nervous system. Let me slow it down. When we go through stress, there is something on the outside of the nerves called the myelin sheath. And that myelin sheath, it coats the nerves. It's like a wire. You know how you have wires, let's say any wire, a plug, your headphones. Inside there's silver or copper wires. And on the outside there is a plastic coating. That plastic coating is like the myelin sheath for your nerves. And your nerves are the wires. That is like the internet of your body. Mulungu helps to recoat, retrain, recover the myelin sheath so that your nerves are not exposed. Because when your nerves become exposed, you say, he's on my nerves. That vibration, it's like they're agitated. Your nerves get irritated. And every time we turn on the news now, there's something there that's going to agitate you. If you're looking in your stream, on the internet, it's always going to be agitation, putting you more in a survival mode and fight or flight. So folks are, a lot of us are living in that. It's our environment, and we're distracted and minding other people's business. And that creates an imbalance in the nervous system because, there's things that have nothing to do with us that we wouldn't have known about if we weren't searching around on the internet. But staying focused with ourselves is important. And if having an herb like Mulungu can help you with your balancing your nervous system. I love this particular herb. I remember the first time I tried it, and it was just like, whoa, what is this? I just went into this real mellow mode. Like, wow, It didn't put me to sleep. It didn't make me sleep. But what it did was it caused me to relax and not take things so serious and slow down. It helps with anxiety, stress, nervous tension. You know, a lot of things that do that you can be addicted to. They got stuff out there that will help you, but if it's, pharmaceutical, you got to look at those side effects. A lot of folks are going through insomnia. They can't sleep. They're restless. You know, just always this field of energy around us that needs to be balanced. And that's one of the things that Malungu helps to do, helps to balance that energy field. So having a natural sedative around is important. This one, to me, trumps almost everything out there. And it's one of the main things I use in my formulas that have to do with nervous tension and stress. There are also a lot of spiritual qualities with herbs. A lot of folks say, well, Dr. B, how would you describe, kind of what you do? Well, I basically kind of am I shouldn't say basically. I am, cancel, cut, delete, and clear. I am a metaphysical herbalist, and I look at the spiritual and energetic qualities of herbs. This particular herb, Malungu, it helps to release emotional turbulence and inner storms. How many of you out there know what an inner storm is and feel it every day? The storms outside in nature are actually a mirror of the storms happening in people. So to calm that inner storm, we use Malungu to help us relax and breathe really deep. It helps with static, electrical static in the atmosphere, static in our lives. It helps to ground us. You see, that agitation that we feel and that we pick up is in the environment. Imagine taking something, having something, using something that can calm that static down and get you to breathe. Something that gets you to see yourself, feel yourself, and go inward. This is the herb for that. In Brazilian folklore, Malungu is known as the herb that brings peace to the warrior's heart. It's given to those who are carrying the inner storms and unresolved anger, unresolved fear, emotional exhaustion. It helps people find chaos and create order out of chaos. I love Malungu. There's another picture of it. Some of these are, a little challenging to find, but if you're looking for them, you will find them. I use this in my product, Heaven on Earth. Heaven on Earth is for anxiety, stress, mood, nervous system rejuvenation, and it's a heart tonic. The main ingredient here, the number one ingredient, is Malungu, because Malungu leads the path. And the primary herbs that you use in your formula are the ones that are leading. Those are the ones that are opening up the way. And then we have other supportive herbs that we use also. So in a formula like Heaven on Earth, I mean, I'm looking at the bottle here and there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's like 16 herbs, and then there's also flower essences, essential oils. There's crystal elixirs, and there's Celtic sea salt, and minerals. Micro minerals are very important. So this particular herbal formula we created originally for my mother because she had MS, and she needed something to help her with her nerves. She needed something to help stabilize her nerves, because when you have MS, the myelin sheath has basically dissolved or eroded. So she would take this and it would relax her. And I was still formulating and creating back then. And, she, each time I made it, I would send her another batch. She said, it's getting better. It's getting better. And one day she just said, send me more of that stuff, that Heaven on Earth. And I didn't name it that for a long time. It was years later before it became Heaven on Earth. But I remembered that was one of the things that my mother had said about it is that it created heaven on earth. And how about that, y'all? Being able to, create heaven on earth. That's one of the goals that we all should have. On to another one of my favorite herbs of all time. This one is a master herb. It's called Carraro, Cassia grandis, also known as the pink shower tree, Carraro fruit, Canada fistula rosada, stinking toe. It smells funky. It's like socks and garlic. When you open up the pod, because this is a fruit, you open the pods and the smell is like, oh my God, this is a crazy smell. But that smell is creating an energy that helps your body become more balanced. In a lot of areas in the Caribbean where this comes from, they're cutting the Carraro tree down. Why? People say it smells bad. And it leaves these pods on the ground because the pods are sometimes, a foot or so, long, and they're all over the ground. It's just ugly. It's just terrible. So even in the indigenous areas, they're like, this tree is offensive because of the smell. You want your neighborhood to smell great. So cut down those ugly pods that could actually save your life. But there's a molasses-like syrup that comes from these that has minerals. And this is really good as a blood tonic and an energy restorer. It's this one right here. Whew. One of the issues that we have is the lack of iron, or the anemic situation in North America. It's almost like it's like a pandemic. We here in North America are not getting enough iron, especially people who are tan and brown and black or red. We need lots of iron to fire up our energy field, to keep the melanin, strong. Iron is important. And it's interesting that this plant doesn't have iron, but it's amazing for the blood because it has copper and it has other what they call phytochemicals that help rebuild the blood really quickly. And down in places like Costa Rica, they might mix it with like a milk or milk type substance, and they have this drink. And the minute you mix it with something, it's really interesting. It doesn't have that funky smell anymore. It only has it when it's actually the pods. And the pods, when you cut the pods the long way, each of the seeds actually looks like a blood cell. They look just like the blood cells. So as you can see, the tree's pink. The color of a plant has a lot to do with the energy that it's pulling in from the environment. Like I say, this grows in areas where it's hot, where it's subtropical. And some of the benefits for generation, cacao has been revered as a natural remedy for anemia and low vitality. How many of you out there are anemic? Some of your attitudes, some of the way we act is based on the lack of iron, the lack of healthy blood, the lack of courage, the courage to say no, the courage to say yes, the courage to step up, to stay creative, the courage not to believe everything that they're trying to tell you. That takes courage to step away from the old way of eating and the old way of living. It takes courage. Without enough iron, you can't have enough courage. Without enough iron, your immune system will never be strong enough. So you could be conscious all day, but without courage, without strength, and without a healthy immune system or immune response, then, you're just you got all this knowledge, you read all these books, you get all this information, but what are you going to do with it? It takes courage to actually use it, to put it into action, to become wise. So something that's going to boost iron and hemoglobin levels is really important. It doesn't have iron, as I said, but the thing that a lot of folks don't know about iron is you need copper to draw the iron out of whatever it's in. You need copper. This plant has a lot of copper. Copper is important. It is one of the things, the cofactors of iron. So just, taking iron and using iron supplements, sometimes you may only be getting 30% of what's in there, 30% of the possibilities. So using, copper is very important. Storing things in copper. I use a copper process when we're creating the herbal tonics. But this plant helps with stamina, helps with your energy, helps to support your nervous system too, back to nerves, because guess what? If you don't have enough iron, you're going to have an attitude. You're going to be moody. A lot of people are, they're bipolar, tripolar. Some people are, what's the fourth? Quadrupolar, all over the place because we don't have enough iron in the food. And you can eat greens all day. Oh boy, the greens have lots of iron. The root vegetables have a lot of iron. Well, it depends on where they grew. It depends on when they grew them. Some of the things that you're eating now may be from a whole nother season if they're frozen or if they're dehydrated or if they're stored up, which means that the energy value of what you're eating may be dropping every moment of the day that it sits in storage. Iron also helps with your mood and your cognitive focus. Without iron, without having healthy blood, because see what the blood does is the blood carries nutrients to your cells. You see? I'm going to go into the energetics of this plant. Let's see here. This is considered a life force activator. A life force activator. It's very warming and grounding. It strengthens vitality. It helps your circulatory system calm down and relax so that you can receive more information from the galaxy because your system it's electrical. We're picking up, energy like a radio. We're transmitters. We're sending and receiving electricity. And to have more of the qualities that help you receive, it's going to be better for you. You can hold on to more energy with more copper because copper is a conductor. Iron is a conductor. So your blood is a conductor. What we'd like to become is superconductors. We'll talk about that, at another point. We're talking about superconductors is something that gives all of its energy and doesn't lose any. Imagine you could work hard all day and not lose any energy. You never get tired. This is what superconductors do. So I can't stress enough how much of an importance iron is and the blood is and the strength of the blood and how important this is at this particular time as we're going through so many changes. You see, imagine having that energy without caffeine. I'm not saying that all caffeine is bad, but I'm just saying some folks don't tolerate caffeine very well. Beautiful tree, beautiful plant, beautiful flowers. Kararu. It's one of the main herbs in iron essential. It also has magnesium, trace minerals, and it has, other things that are high in iron like sarsaparilla. But it is the Kararu. It is the Kararu that actually triggers the iron that is in sarsaparilla and in nettle and some of the other iron plants. It's the iron needs to be triggered by copper. They work together, copper and iron. So for that, I love, and it's one of the plants I look up to is Kararu. I think I had something on. Yeah, this one is really good for the solar plexus, for the root chakra, for strength, for the bones, because you need healthy iron, healthy blood to have strong bones. This helps to restore willpower. Kararu, sarsaparilla, things that have iron in them. Joy. If your solar plexus and your root chakra are not spinning correctly, it's because a lot of times the things that are happening in the environment, the static, the mass distraction, it gets you off balance. And balance has a lot to do with your root chakra, your legs. Your root chakra, it deals a lot with what we've been through, what we're going through, our family, our past, our foundation. That has to do with that root chakra. And having a balanced root chakra and also having a balanced third chakra, the solar plexus, is important because that solar plexus, it deals with digestion, what you're taking in, what's for you, what's not for you. And to know that is very important, to be able to filter, because there's a lot of information out there that's not for you. So having enough iron is going to help you be able to filter what's for you and what's not for you, and be courageous, and also be able to say no when it's time to say no. Iron essential. It has the kararu and the plants that help to create more iron. Gynostemma. By the way, I'm drinking a tea right now that has all of these in it. So, and I'll tell you how I did that. Gynostemma. Jiao Gulong. Interesting story. I was doing research many years ago on plants that could help to repair telomeres. So the telomeres are the ends of your genes, where there's these little strings called the telomere strings that, when they're long and when they're bound together tightly by what's called the telomere cap, then you become healthy, your cells rejuvenate quickly, you bounce back from illness, but also it keeps you young. When the telomere cap begins to erode from the ends of your genes, and the genes and the strings at the bottom begin to fray, then you begin to age. You also, your cells don't, duplicate. They don't repair themselves as quickly because the body's going through aging. It's going through stress. So doing this research many years ago, I was like, I'd like to find the plants that keep us forever young. And I talked to this, I think she was Japanese or something, and she was drinking this tea. And I says, what is this? And she says, tea. I said, what kind of tea is it? She says, tea, green tea. And she hands me this little, this was I think it was at the Santa Monica Farmers Market, because I was getting this fruit, jujube dates. Jujube dates also have a lot of iron too. So, I was getting some jujube dates. They come in the fall. They're really good for iron. They're good for anemia. And I started talking about, thinking about the system of the body that keeps us young. And, when you start thinking about things and studying things pop up. And she hands me this handful of these little crumbled up, they look like little round balls of herbs. I was like, what is this? Jiao Gulong. For what? Lifelong, live long, green tea. I was like, green tea. So I go look up Jiao Gulong. I'm like, why did she say this is a green tea? Well, actually, Jiao Gulong is a green tea. That's not the same green tea that most of us recognize today. It's one of the original green teas. See, green tea, we just assume that it comes from the regular tila plant. No, there's different cultures that might call something the same thing that you call it. This is an amazing plant for rejuvenating your youth, keeping you young. It's a vine. It actually has a gourd on it. It's from a gourd family. I haven't seen the gourds on it, but they do grow like that, I think, in Thailand. It's an amazing plant with 5 leaves. Now, you also begin to look at the leaf pattern and the stem pattern. First of all, most vines are great for connective tissues, but even more your nerves. Vines, also called nervinos, right? Vines, a lot of them are nervinos. They work on balancing your nervous system. Nerve vines. But this one has 5 leaves. A lot of folks say, what's that, marijuana? It's actually kind of, related. It's almost in the same family, but not correct, not the same, but it has 5 leaves, which has to do with, we look at that as a plant that deals with a power refinement. This plant is also called 5 leaf. 5 leaf, because it has 5 leaves. It has a very special flavor. And I took my tea home and I made a pot of that. And I was like, oh my God, the little round balls. They weren't really tight round balls like oolong tea. They were loose and they were like crunchy little bundles of like, I don't know, it was crumpled up herbs dried. They just unfolded it in the water. And I drank that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I could feel the electricity move through my body because most herbs are electrical. They have electrical energy, and that energy potential is what actually causes the healing, or that's your body picking up the electrical potential or the phytochemicals, which are the natural chemicals that are in that herb or in that plant, entering into your body. It's used in traditional Chinese medicine, jiao gulong or 5 leaf. This has been used for centuries. It's called the herb of immortality. What? Yes, immortality. For your heart, your metabolic balance. It helps to balance your energy field. It helps to help your body adapt to stress. It's an adaptogen. In fact, all of the herbs that I've mentioned today are adaptogens, which means that they adapt to what your body needs. Certain herbs in certain formulations are not adaptogens. They're not tonics. An adaptogen or a tonic is an herb or a substance that is tonifying. An adaptogen just doesn't go in and do the work. It actually looks around, it feels the body, it connects with you, and it sees where you need it and when you don't need it. It turns itself off and on, off and on. It basically has a thermostat based on your energy field. So adaptogens, or what they call tonics, are herbs or essences or plant medicines that adapt to you and what you need. Okay. A lot of herbs that we use in North America are not adaptogens. They just go in and do what they do anyway. They just come in. They got a huge ego. They're going for it. So using herbs like adaptogens keeps it safe. So a lot of the substances or products or formulas that I create are adaptogenic. So they can be used by anybody, because you have to be careful. Sometimes certain herbs cause the blood pressure to rise, or if your person's on medicines, or if the person is sensitive, the activity, the biochemical activity of herbs sometimes can cause imbalances. All herbs you got to figure out when to use them, how to use them, why to use them, but also knowing the spiritual and the energetic vibration of your herb is very important. Something that adapts to you, it's adaptable. Like a Swiss Army knife is adaptable. Mine, I had one that had a screwdriver in it and a nail clipper, and it was a knife, and it did all these different things. That's what adaptogens do. They do many things at one time. This is what it looks like close up. Now, for folks who are into the energetics, it's about the element is air. The primary chakras is the heart chakra and the solar plexus. Once again, this helps to calm the heart, because the body comes out of emergency mode and says, look, we're okay. Once the telomeres get the message that everything is okay and that there is enough of the natural medicine in your body to calm things down, your heart begins to beat slower. So this one, not only is it helping you live longer, have more energy, it also helps you relax. But it's not a relaxing herb, but it causes you to relax by slowing the heartbeat and lowering the blood pressure. It helps to create compassion and love and harmony. It's calming. It supports courage, willpower, balanced flow of energy without aggression or depletion. It's a teacher of moderation and flow, helping one align with the natural rhythms rather than forcing outcomes. We started by talking about allow. When you are in a state of allowance, you're not forcing outcomes. You're not trying to make things happen. You're allowing things to happen. And when you allow things to happen, there is less resistance. I'm not saying allowing disagreeable things. I'm not saying to go out there and just allow everything, but being able to choose what you desire and be calm about it and be focused and allow the best to come out of life, because everything is happening and it's always there. Everything you desire is always there. If we allow ourselves to be healthy, wealthy, and wise, then we will lean that way. A plant like this, what it does is it looks at what we're allowing and what we're focused on, and it helps attract it even more. Jiao Gulong, amazing. This is what it looks like. Show a better picture here. Another way of showing it. Oh, there we go. There's a bigger picture. You see those little like fingers on it? It grabs onto things and it coils and grabs things and climbs like a vine. This is an amazing, amazing green tea. Jiao Gulong, also called five leaf, the plant of immortality. See, gynostemma is basically the name that is known for in most places around the world. If you ask for gynostemma, and that's basically one of the botanical names. I use this as one of the main plants in our Platinum Life Elixir, because this one is about anti-aging. It's about energizing and telomere repair. Remember I said that this plant is the plant of immortality. It helps you live longer, more balanced, more focused. It's an amazing, gentle plant. It's not harsh. It adapts to your body, just like Kararu adapts to your system. It doesn't force iron into your system. It only gives you, it only helps you absorb iron, because that's what it does, helps you absorb iron when you need it. If you got too much iron, you're just going to, a lot of these plants that are adaptogens, if you don't need them, then you end up peeing them away, you see. But all of these are adaptogenic. So the Platinum Life does have this particular herb, gynostemma. It's one of the main plants that's in our, live long family. Then we have the trifecta of vitality, we call it. Heaven on earth, platinum, and iron essential. Heaven on earth, platinum, and iron essential. This is the trifecta, because once we're relaxed and we're creating heaven on earth, then we can take in the iron and use the iron to give us strength and courage. And then we use platinum to help us stay focused, to help to energize the pineal gland. These three together is an amazing formula using the three main plants. So heaven on earth. What are we using in heaven on earth? Let's go back. Can y'all remember? Which plant is going to be for the nervous system? Mulungu. Iron, the main plant, Kararu. Platinum, gynostemma, or five leaf. This is an amazing formulation, or actually it's trifecta. So these three plants, right now, everything is on sale at Elevation until Sunday at midnight. You're 18% off. Ooh, I didn't see that. 18% off until Sunday at midnight. Use the code NOV, NOV1, for 18% off. So today we were basically introducing some of the plants. We're going to be doing this off and on for a while, introducing some of the plants that are the lesser known, very powerful, very potent adaptogenic plants that we use in our formulations. But also for those of you out who are herbalists or who are getting into herbs, these are three plants to go out and do research on. See? So, yeah. Now, what I'd like to do now is answer some questions. And we said this was going to be a question and answer session. So let's see. Let's find out what you might have on your mind. Um, whether it's about, where's my tea? Oh, my tea. You ever start looking for something that's right in front of you? You look all day. Where's my stuff? I can't find it. It's right there in front of you. Yeah. So hold on one second. So I'm going to take as many questions as I can. I may not be able to answer all the questions, but we'll try. Anything to do with health, natural health. Remember, I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you what to do. I don't prescribe. I only give you my opinion based on what I have experienced or what some of my clients and some of my peers have noticed as far as health. Okay. Okay. Somebody said, isn't it true that cayenne can kill parasite eggs? We have not seen that in the studies. In fact, there are certain parasites that use cayenne. There's a lot of talk about these very simple formulas that kill parasites. I don't know of any simple formula that kills. Which parasites are we talking about? First of all, there's thousands and thousands of different types of parasites. Some of them haven't even been discovered yet. So you can't say that it kills parasites. It's like you say, well, what kills bugs? Which bugs? Some of the stuff that you use to get rid of one bug actually feeds another bug. Same thing with parasites. But no, cayenne does not kill parasites. It actually might feed them by opening up the blood vessels. You're helping them travel from one place to another. Cayenne is very good for opening up blood vessels and helping to heal in wounds in your blood vessels, wounds in your body, period. Cayenne is amazing for that. But it does that for parasites too. So no, I wouldn't be using cayenne. That's why we have our elevated total body program, because we're dealing with systemic parasites nowadays. They're throughout the system, and there's many different types. And you've got to deal with them, very, very carefully. And you have to take a graduated approach over 28 days, which is basically a biorhythm cycle. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Why so much mucus and how to rid it from the body? Mucus is actually saving your life. Mucus doesn't cause disease. Mucus is protecting your cells from illness, protecting you from disease. Mucus is a protective coating that your body makes when there's inflammation, when there's something going on in the body where healing is being activated. So many of us that have mucus at times, it's because the body's going through some healing or the body is dealing with inflammation. Now, a lot of us, we have chronic inflammation because of our mindsets, our foods, our environments, microplastics, chemicals, just the plastics, which are causing inflammation around the clock. So the body is creating mucus to try to protect us from that. So it's not what's causing the disease. It's it's a symptom of illness, but the body is attempting to heal itself. So sometimes we just take something just to get rid of mucus. You're not getting rid of the problem. The problem is somewhere else. The problem is at the root. So we have to get to the root or the heart of the matter. Okay. Somebody says, I don't know if I'll be paid. There's a lot of people that are not getting paid right now. Yeah. So if you're not getting paid, then I'll still give you this discount. You'll have to let me know. If you could email us at Elevation Time, go to elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com. Go to sales@elevationtime.com. If you're truly, honestly not getting paid and you'd like to invest and you missed the sale because you'll be getting paid later, let us know. Sales@elevationtime.com. And let me know what day we did the class and what was the name of the class. And then I'll know that you're being really honest and open and fair, and we'll take care of you. See. What's the best legumes and vegetables to grow in a mineral rich soil, such as a basalt volcanic soil? Wow, that's good soil right there. Volcanic soil is some of the best soil. It has so much life promoting energy in it. Legumes, mung beans. A mung bean is one of the best legumes. It is basically it's a small bean. It's green, which means that it has chlorophyll. I don't know of any other bean that has chlorophyll. So it's like a vegetable, because a lot of green leafy vegetables have chlorophyll. But it also has iron. It has B vitamins. Mung beans, an amazing. In fact, I made some mung bean soup just the other day. You know, I use a pressure cooker. There is a Ayurvedic healing modality where for 1 month you eat nothing but balsamic rice and mung beans, real balsamic rice. You know, not this. They got some balsamic-ish rice, you know, with it nowadays. But black beans would be good. Black-eyed peas, navy beans would be very good in mineral-rich soil. Be careful though, because the larger beans are not as digestible. And also most peas have a coating on the outside, a lectin coating, which protects it from insects. And that also will cause gas and cause a challenge in your digestive tract as you're attempting to break down foods. Those acids or those enzymes are inhibited by lectins. Lectins are plant poisons. A lot of plants have these poisons, and that's one of the reasons we use a pressure cooker, because it breaks down the lectins. Also, taking your legumes, your beans, and soaking them, you know, for at least 12 hours. You know, some folks put a little vinegar and put some bay leaves, vinegar, and a baking soda, and let them sit. And if you know how to ferment, it would be great to ferment your beans, or actually sprout your beans. Okay. All right. Somebody says, I'm 13 days into the cleanse, but lately I've been experiencing extreme fatigue and wake up feeling tingly in my body. I'm very active and never felt like this. Could it be due to the lack of meat? No. This is what they call a cleansing crisis. The parasites are trying to get you to get some meat. They're like, go get meat, go get this, go get that. Those things that actually feed them. But you also may not have enough minerals. So get some sea salt, Celtic sea salt, and take like a pinch of sea salt and put that in your water. That will help your body get more minerals. If you're not getting enough minerals because your body is already mineral deficient, then try minerals and also cayenne pepper. You could make lemon juice with cayenne pepper. If you're going to sweeten it, make sure you use 100% dark maple syrup, or monk fruit sugar. What else? Date sugar is good, even though it doesn't break down as much. It doesn't, break down as well in tea. But also breathing deeply and getting grounded. You see, you're fatigued because your body is detoxing from parasites. Parasites they're very intelligent beings. They're probably the most intelligent beings on the planet, which is why, I hear about these simple formulas that are supposed to just knock it out. I mean, they know how to write their code and mutate and change so that now what you're calling their poison is their medicine. So if you're at 13 days and you're having lots of fatigue, stay focused. Get enough sleep, drink water. Like I say, put that Celtic sea salt in your water, and also check to see if you're iron deficient. Are you anemic? If you're anemic, then something like Iron Essential or the trifecta that I mentioned today. I don't know if you got that with your cleanse, but that would be really, really powerful for you. Okay. Please like this video and go to our channel and also become a subscriber so you can find out what's happening, when I'm actually doing these, presentations. All right. Iron makes constipation. Which iron? The iron that creates constipation is the ferric oxide, which is like rust, which is the pharmaceutical version of iron. A nascent type of iron is a iron that has been absorbed by plants and stores it either in its leaves, and its stems, and its roots. Those plants are absorbing very small particles of iron. It is the large particles of iron that your body doesn't absorb very well. It is also the rust that seems to make the colon, become almost paralyzed. So when you take, the traditional iron supplements, people say that all the time. And, my stool was dark. It was hard. And I couldn't go for days. That's because of the traditional iron is actually not very good for the body. Not good. I shouldn't say it's not good. Be very careful. We are on television, right? We're worldwide. I got to be careful how I say this, but it is not conducive for using the bathroom very well. I'll just say it like that. Keep it simple. Okay. Somebody's asking about painkiller. What about painkiller? A natural painkiller? Natural painkillers are herbs that can relax the nervous system. White willow is one of the great painkillers. That's the original aspirin. Aspirin was created from white willow. Do y'all know about white willow? The pussy willow plant? The pussy willow tree? Yeah, very good. There are many other painkillers out there. We've got to be careful talking about painkillers because they're listening very carefully to what we mention that can help people free themselves from the system. And if you're really having, it depends on the type of pain you're having. A lot of times the pain is because of inflammation. If you've got inflammation in the body, you may have pain, which is a symptom of your body healing once again. Is maitake mushroom good? Yes, it's very good. Maitake mushroom is good, especially for people who are dealing with things like diabetes. And there's 3 types of diabetes, type 1, type 2, and there's type 3 diabetes. Type 3 diabetes is now what they're calling Alzheimer's and dementia, because the brain is having issues. See, the brain needs more sugar, more glucose than any other organ. If you're using simple sugars, if you're using processed sugar, then the brain begins to become inflamed. The brain begins to also calcify. It becomes hardened. The outside of the brain, which is called the hem of the garment, the outside coating of the brain, when it is becoming thin and the brain begins to expand, the brain doesn't like expansion. It just doesn't like it. So when that happens, the body starts trying to balance itself. And when it does that, it may use, a lot of times when we're going through inflammation, the body creates lactic acid to try to make a cast. So older people or even younger people now who are having what they call Alzheimer's, it's got to do with using processed simple sugars, also using dairy products. And that calcium in those dairy products, the molecule is much too big, and we don't have the enzymes to break down, lactose. You need, certain enzymes to break down milk. And most folks, especially melanated folks, brown, tan, yellow, may not have that enzyme, that lactase to break down lactose, especially after the age of 5. You see? Yeah, but maitake mushroom is very good for the brain. It's also good for diabetes. It's good for nutrition. It's actually one of the primary mushrooms that I use in our mushroom tonic. We use 12 different medicinal mushrooms. And maitake mushroom is a very good medicinal mushroom. And some folks do cook with it also. Okay. What would you use to rid your eyes of parasite? Don't know which ones. Should any of them any be in the eyes? Well, they say that floaters, the little squiggly ones that move around, are parasites. Now, I was talking to a medical doctor and he was arguing, no, they're not. You're just lying to the people. They're not parasites. They're not worms. They're just sort of broken material, broken pieces of DNA in the eye fluid, and you're just lying to the people. I was taught by my teachers that if you've got squiggly things moving around in your eye, navigating, those are living creatures. How do you get rid of them? Oh, you do it as a systemic total body paracleanse program, because you've got to detoxify the entire body. See, cloves and wormwood and black walnut and diatomaceous earth, they're very good for parasites in the colon, in the digestive tract, but they don't reach the other organs very well. They don't break down the biofilm. Biofilm is a protective coating that parasites create to protect them from you, from your immune system, from drugs, from pharmaceuticals. And they also use microplastics. And I heard the other day that the average person is eating almost a credit card size of amount of plastic every week in a lot of the foods. That is crazy. I don't know how true that is, but it sounds pretty deep. But I can believe it because we use plastic in so many places now. I've been looking through my own house and just how much plastic we've gotten into. So, for eyes, we're going to have to do something like the elevated total body program, or at least a total body program for at least 28 days to remove parasites. A lot of folks have had those in their eyes for many years, and they say for the first time they cleared up when they did one of our programs. I'm about to have knee surgery. Do you have any recommendations, recommended cleanse during that time? First of all, you probably won't be able to do too many herbs before surgery because they may thin your blood a little too much. And they're going to give you some things that could counteract or not work well with, with the herbs or with the medicines they're going to give you. Okay. So I would do after the cleanse, after the surgery, I would get on either the total body or the elevated total body program. And those are available over at elevationtime.com to detoxify the chemicals from the body, because they're going to give you chemicals to do the surgery. And then also, if they give you antibiotics, which they usually do after operations, they may wipe out your friendly bacteria, your microbiome. So there is a, what's the one? Vita Flora 6060 is a product that I like a lot. You can find it online. We don't sell it at elevationtime.com, but you can get it through most of your online channels. Vita Flora 6060. They got a formula for men. They got one for women. Yes. Let's see. Dr. B, can you tell us more about X Factor and the Serious Master Tonic Reserve? X Factor was created for viruses. Actually, no. Let's cancel, cut, delete, and clear that. It was originally created because I was dealing with a lot of folks in Los Angeles who were dealing with cancer. They had cancer running in their family. And we realized around that time, there was a report that came out of Italy that definitely, pointed towards fungi in the body that actually helped the, cancers grow, that it was related to fungus. And then we studied a little more, and it was about viruses, certain viruses, retroviruses in the body. Retroviruses are viruses that actually entered your body a long time ago, but are being activated by stress or some illness or some imbalance. That's a retrovirus. A lot of people are getting retroviruses now, ones that you got through shots when you were young, or just things that you caught from the environment that are now springing up. But when I made the X Factor, we were looking at cancer, dealing with deep states of fungal infections or fungal infestations. Then we started looking at viruses and how viruses act. Now, viruses are not living things. Viruses are like machines. They say they don't have RNA, they don't have DNA, they're not alive, but they act alive. They're like some type of foreign substance that uses pieces of your, cells, the toxins from your cells and pieces of broken tissue, and they create this energy field called viruses. Now, all viruses are not bad. All viruses are not bad. In fact, if you ever get a virus, you're always going to have the energy of that virus. You can't really get rid of a virus, but you can keep it from being able to attract other virus material and also being able to communicate, because they communicate like little electronic bugs. That's kind of what they are. Weird electronic bugs. They're very, very tiny, very, very, very tiny, along with microbacteria. They're very, very small. Even your common microscopes can't see them, But we have to be vigilant when we're dealing with this type of thing. And we have to hit these from every angle. So I created X Factor to help deal with folks who were having cancer. We do create a cancer protocol for folks who need it. If you know anybody that, is ready, willing, and able, we put together a whole package for folks dealing with cancer. X Factor by itself won't get rid of cancer, but it's one of the things we use in our cancer protocol, cancer nutritional package. And we're not telling people don't go do the chemo and don't do, the radiation. That's up to you. And in emergencies, sometimes you got to, use emergency tactics. But after you do that, if you do that, then you've got to rebuild the body. X Factor is good for rebuilding the body. It's very strong. I tell folks that if they take it, they might want to take some type of probiotic, even a prebiotic, to help rebuild the intestinal flora. But X Factor is very powerful for viruses. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, well, is it good for the C virus? A lot of folks have taken the X Factor along with the elevated cleanse, and they said all of the viral load in their body disappeared from many types of viruses. Many, 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 many viruses. How many of y'all out there got viruses? Raise your hand, because almost everybody has a virus of some sort. The Serious Master Reserve Tonic, the Serious Master Tonic Reserve. That's something I created many years ago for myself. In California, a friend of mine, Akadama, he used to go to the, he used to do the sweats. He was the firekeeper at the Indigenous American Sweats. And, he was part of a tribe, and they would go out and they would get this substance called pinyon. Pinyon is one of the resins that's known as nature's Band-Aids. And it smelled so good. You could put it on coals. You could put it on your body. It was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I began to take a deeper look at the resins and the different types of, this basically tree sap, solidified or thickened tree sap are these resins. And in most cases around the world, they call these resins nature's Band-Aids. They seal you up. I was like, wow, they seal you up. So I said, I need to be sealed up. I'm dealing with people and shaking hands, and I'm around crowds of people. What can I do to seal up my auric field? I need to be protected from the world, because people have lots of stuff, energetically, mentally, physically, spiritually. People are carriers of lots of stuff. How can I protect myself? So I started playing around with all these different resins. The resin from Pau d'Arco, the resin from we got a lot of resins that we pulled from. Pinyon from pine. Pinyon is a pine tree. So it's pine resin. What are the two main resins? Frankincense and myrrh. But there are 7 different resins in this Master Tonic Reserve. For many years, I only used it for myself. That was my protection. I was wearing it. I was taking a little bit of it whenever I went out in public. And I was doing a talk one day and I started taking some because I felt some energy. And, people be having energy. People got a lot of stuff going on. They'll send it to you if you're open to it. And I was open to it at the point and I felt it. And I felt my immune system. I felt weak. So I took the drops and somebody in the audience said, Dr. B, what was that? What are you taking? I said, this is my own private reserve. This is private reserve. What do you mean? What is it for? I says, to help to protect my spiritual energy, to help to protect my auric field, to protect my space, to protect my biofield, to protect my magnetosphere. And they were like, what? How can we get some? I said, well, I don't sell it. I said, because I can only get it in small amounts. And not every, you can't just go every season and get these resins. Some of these resins don't come around for a long period of time. You have to be patient. So I only have a limited, small, private stock. And they were like, well, what would we pay for? What would it cost, Dr. B? Because we like what you take. What are you using? I don't know. I threw out a price. I said, well, if I had like a half-ounce bottle, or even a half-ounce bottle, I'd probably do for something like $88. Everybody wanted it. What about a bigger bottle? I said a bigger bottle would probably be about $333. I know nobody's going to buy this. Who's going to buy a 2-ounce bottle of something for $333? The orders came in like crazy, and they still do. People who use it, they talk about how they're public speakers. They go out in public. They go to churches. They go around folks. They go to meetings, and they need something that will protect them from the environment. So we have some serious Master Tonic Reserve, only a certain amount every season. We have some right now. You can go to the website at elevationtime.com if you're interested in sealing up your auric field and protecting your spiritual energy from people parasites. Yeah. And not all people are bad. It's just that people are carriers of a lot of stuff. All right. Is mushrooms the best to heal, to get rid of viruses out of the body? Not just mushrooms. Mushrooms are really good because certain mushrooms can recognize foreign DNA. They can also recognize foreign objects and foreign toxins. So a group of mushrooms might be good, not just a mushroom. So there's a whole, like I said, in our mushroom tonic, we have several. We use 12 of them. But not only mushrooms, certain types of herbs are going to need to be, employed, resins. Also, you're going to need minerals, micro minerals, very small amounts of minerals. A formula is going to be best to take a multi-level or multi-angle or directional approach to dealing with viruses. That's why we created the X Factor. But even the X Factor by itself might need to be supported because it was originally made to go with our elevated total body program. Okay. Somebody says yes, so you don't need extra. The body makes it. The body does make a lot of things. If it's in the soil, if it's in the plants, if it's in the food we're eating, the body can make it, but it needs the basic materials to create from. All right. Let's see. All right. Somebody uses red mountain salt. That's good. I salt brush plant minerals as well as sea salt. Is salt brush plant? I'm not sure what the salt brush plant plant for minerals as well as, if you can break that down, King Buddha. I'm not sure about what you mean. I'm a basketball coach and I encourage my players not to drink Gatorade or the Powerade. I encourage them to drink water. Should I encourage them to drink Coconut water, coconut water is amazing. Coconut water is probably the best water you can get. And it has electrolytes. That means it has these, energy, it has the energy, electrical energy in it, the potential energy. Uh, 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 Electrolytes are like ions of electricity that are existing in certain things. Just water alone may not, even get to your cells. It may not quench your thirst. You need electrolytes. So you could put lemon in your water. Some folks put a little orange in their water. But one of the best things I see is the Celtic sea salt. You can use other salt. You can use pink salt, but pink salt, because it's so hard, it takes much more time for it to dissolve into your water. Where the Celtic sea salt is soft, it got water in it. It's actually a little damp, but that would be a great drink for sports. But yes, coconut water would be the very best. Hey doc, what would be the number one herb I can use to craft a diabetic supplement tonic for my elders? High blood pressure elixir as well. I desire to wean them off of their meds. Be careful, very careful with that. We do have a product called blood sugar powder. I'm not sure if it's in stock because a lot of folks are dealing with diabetes and pre-diabetes. The blood sugar powder. If somebody is diabetic, you may want to get 2 bottles and also look at doing the elevated total body program. Why? Because a lot of folks have liver flukes. And if you have liver flukes, you got pancreatic flukes, the pancreatic fluke worm. A lot of folks who have I shouldn't say a lot. Be careful, Dr. B. Several people who are dealing with diabetes have parasites in their pancreas, but they also have issues on each cell where the sugar receptors are not, working correctly. They may be broken. Also, diabetes is connected to viruses. It's connected to parasites. Of course, we know white sugar and those things have to be, we have to negate those from our body. But diabetes is really interesting. My father had diabetes for 23 years. And the doctor said he was going to have it for the rest of his life. And I was attempting to help him for many years, but, I'm his son. So he's like, well, I don't know. The doctor didn't say blah, 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 blah. So we got him to go to a new doctor, a young guy who was actually a medical doctor, a cardiologist, and a naturopath. And he worked with me because my father didn't know we were working together. And we got my father, off the diet he was on and onto a Live It. And he was able to do my cleanse because the doctor was putting it in his own bottles. He did my cleanse. And for actually 3 months, he was totally diabetic free in 3 months. He was off all of his medicines. He lost lots of weight. His skin changed. Everything changed. What did he do? The elevated total body program. He went on what they called no starch. He went on a no starch diet. No starches, just vegetables and fruits. It's all he ate. And he didn't eat fruits and vegetables together. You always eat them separately. And he did that for 3 months and did the cleanse. And all of his symptoms of diabetes went away. The doctors were shocked. High blood pressure. One of the things a lot of folks use for high blood pressure is cayenne pepper in high doses. Also, if you have parasites, many symptoms of parasites are things like high blood pressure, diabetes, low blood pressure. Okay. But you have to be careful when somebody is on diabetic medicine or even high blood pressure medicine, because if you just take them off, then the body may go crazy because it's kind of hooked on those things. And also it may be regulating them to a certain point, and you could send them into, in an emergency response. So I would gradually, if you're going to use the blood sugar powder for the diabetics, I would watch the blood sugar, because now, we have things like Apuntia. We have there's a very special type of Indian turmeric that's in there, and barberry and bayberry. Those are good. The bitter melon. Those are all really good cactus pears, and cactus leaves, what they call opuntia. All of those are good for diabetes if you use them in the right way. The main thing for diabetes is going to be getting some true cinnamon Ceylon. And I can't tell you how much to take and when to take it. That's why we created the blood sugar powder. Um, and I have to be very careful so we don't create some challenges with those folks who make money off of being sick. Yes, nascent iron means the iron has already been broken down and digested. Um, we want to make sure that the iron is absorbable. That's the iron that is broken down by plants. So our iron essential is one of those that has nascent iron in it, along with the copper from the kararu, to so that it can be utilized by the body much better. Okay, great day, Dr. B. This is Nay again. We spoke a while back. I'm currently dealing with my face breakout. I've been tried lately due to seasonal change. I'm honestly ready for a cleanse. Well, there's your answer. Detox. This is the season for that. So elevated total body program, or even the total body program, detox your body. Your skin is showing you what's happening in your blood and in your digestive tract. Your skin is an indicator of what's happening in your blood and in your digestive tract. So when we look at, the skin as an indicator, it says go inward. What are we eating? What are we not eating? What are we using in our house? What chemicals are you using on your skin? Are you using a natural soap? Are you putting actual, real, true aloe vera from the leaf on your skin? Your soap. Let's look at that soap. Also, if you're using a washcloth, be careful that your washcloth is not hanging damp for days and days, picking up bacteria from the environment. And make sure that none of your washcloths or your towels or any of those things are made from polyesters. Okay. Hey, Doc, do you know anything about varicocele? I'm not sure about that. You have to break down what that is. I haven't heard that one before. What about constant congestion as we move through the weather? Well, we have a product called Serious Defense, which is great for the season, that deals with upper respiratory congestion and seasonal, what we call allergies, colds, and flus. That is something called a Serious Defense. Okay, cloves and clove oil is very good. Let's go. I have 4 moringa trees. Are they good to have? Yes, extremely good to have. Moringa is like having a money tree. Moringa has most of the vitamins and minerals that the body needs. Moringa seeds can be put in water. And, moringa is a very powerful plant. Moringa is amazing. It's like a medicine tree. And I know it grows on the West Coast. I've seen them in the South and in the Caribbean. It's one of those, another plant that they call the tree of life. Moringa. Very, 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 very good. Okay, question. Is GLP really naturally occurring? What is GLP-1? What is GLP-1? Have you looked it up? Do you know what it is? You have any idea what GLP-1 is? I'm going to read you from Google what it says about the GLP-1. Hold on now. What is it made of? music happening here. Glucagon-like peptides, GLP-1, is a 30 or 31 amino acid peptide hormone is produced by the intestinal L cells and is composed of the following amino acids. So I think what you need to make sure of is that you're getting a totally natural version of this if you're using this. You see, because a lot of amino acids are taken from animals. They'll take the amino acids from the animals. So you need to know what is the source of your GLP-1. Where is it coming from? Go deep. Do more research on that. What about goat's milk as a cow dairy milk substitute? Depending on your goats. Are they natural goats? Are they living on a farm? Are they eating, real food? Or are they eating toxins and some of your trash? A lot of folks prefer goat milk. Some folks use raw dairy, raw cow's milk. I can't tell you not to do it, but check and see if your body tolerates it well. And it depends on what works for you. Okay, someone says, Philly Cat says, is there an herb good for increasing ketones and or feeding the brain? Ketones are substances that help to burn fat or create energy from fat or from your glucogen or from your glucose reserves. Is there a natural version? Is there a herb good for increasing ketones? Any of the things that create more energy. So earlier, I mentioned the 3 plants that I mentioned. I mentioned kararu. I mentioned gynostemma. And we also mentioned, what was the other one we mentioned? We mentioned malungu. Those could help with with the ketones, but any good lean food that digests quickly can do that. Walking can help to do that. Swimming, riding a bike. So it's not just the food, it's the activity that creates that energy field that helps to increase ketones. And be careful with starches, starchy foods. They break down very slowly. Feeding the brain. One of the best things for the brain it's called Brahmin. Amazing product for the brain. I'm going to look up let's see if I can find it here. Not Brahmin. I apologize. It's Brahmi, which is also Bacopa minari. Bacopa is one of the best herbs. It's from India. It's for the brain. We use that in focus. It's one of the main things, along with we are using a lot of the other things like ginkgo is great for the brain. See, the brain is a very technical, very, very particular type thing. Not one thing works for the brain. When you say for the brain is not one organ. The brain is several organs all working together, or several parts all working together. So they say, well, lion's mane is good for the brain. Well, it is. It's good for the part of your brain, the frontal part of your brain that has to do with thinking. The back of the brain is a little different. So I would use things like Bacopa, lion's mane, and ginkgo together in a formula. That's what we did with our product Focus. And also walking, exercising, because as you walk, you move the cerebral spinal fluid, right? And that begins to massage the brain. A lot of us need, our brain to be massaged. Okay. Let's see how many more questions we can get in here. What if someone had a kidney transplant and is on dialysis? How much herbs can help when someone has extremely challenging health issues and going on and on health issues going on and have been heavily dependent on medicine? Interesting question. If a person has a kidney transplant or any type of kidney disease, I usually steer them away from most herbs because you need your kidneys to help process herbs. That's a real challenging place. So when folks call me and they say, look, my uncle, my friend, or myself, I'm going through this, and I say, listen, I can't really give you a lot of information. Honestly, I keep hearing people say, no, take herbs, take herbs. You need kidneys to help to break down the herbs. You need the electrical impulse, the chi, the life force, the jing of the kidneys to help signal your body to be able to use this. Plus, you don't want to put too much stress on whatever filtering system they're using to process those herbs. Because when you do dialysis, it's a filtering system. So I would be very careful. Anybody that's on serious, medicines and they're heavily dependent, you got to be very careful. So I don't suggest it unless you get some real good, consultation, somebody working with you. I would see a naturopath and talk to them. What can be done to restore sense of taste and smell? Nothing I've tried has worked. Is this because of the virus? Did it happen since then? If it did, then you need to call me or email me. Sales at or I think we also have info at elevationtime.com. Sales, or I think we were having issues with info. It's at elevationtime.com. So try sales at elevationtime.com. A lot of these things, it would be best to get a consultation. I do consultations with folks one-on-one. If you were really serious about, moving towards, balancing your diet, looking at your health, looking at your life, even your energy field, or even a subconscious alignment, I do offer those consultations. Now I'll be doing a few throughout the holiday season. This is the season when a whole lot of folks start becoming ill because the energy has changed, the environment has changed, and also we start getting involved with the holiday season, eating things, being around people, shedding viruses and bacteria and things, and being stressed by the emotions of the holidays and the sun being lower in the sky. All of those things has an effect on this season. So if you feel like you'd like to get a consultation and talk about how to move through this season or to deal with any serious health challenges, you can go to our website. There is a phone number there. You can leave a message. I'll attempt to call you back, but it's better to leave a message at sales@elevationtime.com, or you can even try info@elevationtime.com and let us know that you'd like a consultation. I had one for the first time. You had what? Philly Cat says she has one for the first time. I don't know. Came to. I'm not sure what Philly Cat is saying. Can any of your products be used as an eye wash or otherwise than by mouth? Well, we do have something called Life Elixir Spray. Life Elixir Spray, some folks have sprayed it in their eye, and it's really good, but it may not get rid of the floaters, but it's good as an eye wash. VitaFlora 60/60 is the product. VitaFlora 60/60, not 66. Yes, there is another one called VitaFlora 100/100. Thank you, Philly Cat. Floaters in my eyes don't bother me. It took several don't bother me. It took several elevated total body cleanses before the floaters in my eyes were gone. Now I don't see them anymore, so I'm happy. Thank you very much. Oregano oil. The best quality oregano oil is very good. Now, I keep hearing that oregano oil kills parasites once again. Which one? It's really good for microbacteria. Which parasite? There may be a few, but you've got so many different types of parasites. So we have to be very careful by saying that these simple formulations gets rid of all the parasites. But oregano oil, as long as your oregano oil is from Oreganum vulgare, it has to be from Oreganum vulgare. Greetings, Dr. B, watching from Canada. Can you please give some info on oral health and toothpaste? We have a tooth powder at elevationtime.com. Also, you can use a lot of folks use baking soda. Baking soda is actually good for a simple, very inexpensive tooth powder. Very good. Okay. Greetings. I'm so happy to announce that I am starting my elevated cleanse today. So thankful to you, Baba. Thank you, brother or sister Robin. Is it Robin or Ruben? Robin. If I can get your name a little off, just forgive me. A good quality black seed oil. Somebody says Egyptian. Well, there's a good quality. Make sure that it's organic. Black seed oil is amazing, especially if we're dealing with fungus throughout the body. Black seed oil. There is black seed oil and black seeds in our total body and elevated total body program, just for that purpose. Love that Portiarco. Yes, Portiarco is amazing. Let's see if there's any other questions. Yeah, benzoin resin is very good. Benzoin resin is a great incense. I also use benzoin resin in my Master Tonic Reserve. That is one of the resins I use. Benzoin. I have Master Tonic Reserve in my bag for work. Yes, needed it. If you got a job, whew, yeah, it's a challenging time. Okay. We love you, Dr. B. Serious. We love you too. This is very informative. My daughter and I used that Reserve tonic last night with the X Factor. Congratulations. How do you feel? Doctor found clots in my legs and don't want another surgery. Any suggestions? I suggest that you get some enzymes. What's the name of the one? Seracor. Sera with a S. S-E-R-A core. Seracor by AST Enzymes. Seracor. We don't have it here at Elevation. Seracor is 2 enzymes that are what they call phytolimic. No, let me get it right. Hold on, let me get it right. They break down any type of fibrolytic enzymes. Fibrolytic enzymes are ones that break down fibrin in the blood. If you got too much fibrin, the blood becomes too thick, it starts making clots. So there are 2 enzymes in that product that help to break down, blood clots and thickening of blood in the legs, but also elevated total body program for sure to help clean out the blood. Cayenne pepper is very good, you see, to thin the blood. And if you need a consultation, well, like I said, give us a call or send us a message. And somebody says, are you familiar with the seeds and soil being tampered with? Of course. Everybody should be familiar with that right now. Everything is being tampered with, but you can change the energy of almost anything. What are some harmful ingredients in store-bought soils? That would be a question for my friend Eugene over at Grow Where You Are. You can go online, go to Grow Where You Are. He's on Instagram, Eugene. You can, pose that question. He knows more about soils than anybody I know. Hey, Dr. B, I've been dealing with heartburn for the first time. So I cut dairy and meat, but it's still hanging around. What would you suggest? Some folks use a teaspoonful of baking soda to help cut down on heartburn. You're not digesting very well, so I would also look at getting a proteolymic probiotic, the one I mentioned earlier, Vita Flora 60/60 or 100/100. Your body's not digesting very well, and usually that's a sign of the microbiome being off. But you can also use some baking soda to break down some of that acid. Somebody's checking in from Port. What are you, Prince Haiti? Have worked with the black mushrooms we call Dijon. I haven't worked with them, but I heard a lot about these mushrooms. We were trying to get some, but I heard it was really challenging to get things from Haiti. But it's a very powerful mushroom, the black mushroom in Haiti. Yes, I've heard a lot about it. Anything for fibroids, that's something you should call me about, or you should get us at elevationtime.com and send us a message, and we could talk about a fibroid formula. But we do need fibrolytic enzymes. We need enzymes that eat up scar tissue. That's what I mentioned earlier. The Seracor is good for helping to break down, scar tissue. But you got to do more than that. We always want it to be simple. There's no one thing. We've got to detoxify the entire body, because what caused the fibroids is a systemic issue. How good is pumpkin seeds for your body? Very good. They're full of zinc. Thank you, Doc. In fact, this is a good season for pumpkin too. This is a season for all of the gourds and pumpkins. This is the season to eat the root vegetables. We may do another show about that. I eat 3 moringa seeds every morning. Very good. I'm interested in products you have related to bipolar. My son was diagnosed. He has ADHD, and I've been told by his father that he has these moments of anger from childhood trauma. Yeah, now this gets a little deep. This would be something you got to call for a consultation to get into this, because there's information we need to know. What chemicals are being used in the house? What chemicals are using around your home? What plastics are in the diet, in the food? What is he wearing? Polyester is a big problem. Plastic, toxins, heavy metals. So some of these are not simple answers. Okay. Somebody's talking about an enlarged blood vessel. That's all, you're going to have to call for a lot of these. What about nylon washcloth? I would never use nylon or any plastic on my skin. If possible, polyester, nylon, any of those. Get 100% cotton. Bamboo. There's so many things that we can use today besides, this nylon. Adzuki beans, very, very good. Arthritis in the hands. We're going to have to talk about what's causing your body to be inflamed. That starts in the gut, by the way. You probably say, well, it's in the hands. Well, it starts in the gut. Most inflammation starts in the gut. Somebody says, my downfall is starchy foods. Well, if you know that, then let's cut back on the starchy foods. Vocal path. I'm not sure what that is. Gotu kola is very good for the brain, also for circulation. Parsley is very good for iron. Cilantro is good for, help gentle cleansing. A lot of folks say cilantro is supposed to get rid of heavy metals in the body. The issue with heavy metals is you'd have to be eating cilantro every day, almost all day long, to get enough cilantro to clean the heavy metals. So that's why we made the product called Platinum Life Elixir, to help to reduce the heavy metals, because we need things like humic acid, fulvic acid, and some other phytochemicals that are actually going to help to wrap those heavy metals up. Let's see. What else? Cleansing the glymphatic system is important. I'm going to show you a glymphatic cleansings movement right here. Put your finger in there right under your ear and move down like that. Push it in and move down. Do the same thing on the other side. That's a glymphatic massage. If you got our quantum light, you can put that on there, but that movement begins to move the glymphatic fluids. That's actually how your body, your brain detoxifies itself. That is the lymphatic system of the brain, the glymphatic system. Cordyceps are very good for the brain. Yes, cordyceps mushrooms. Lion's mane is good for cognition. Thank you, Calvin. Yes, the person says, I lost taste and smell during the virus period. Then that means you still have it in your system. I would do the elevated total body program and X Factor, the large one. I would do it twice a day. That's why I say get the 4-ounce X Factor. And I would do it twice a day for 3 months. What's good to dissolve calcium buildup in the left aortic valve? A small vegetation growth. Yeah, that's another one. You're going to have to call for that. We can talk about it. Dr. Yaki Awaken in St. Louis is good resource as well. Dr. Yaki is a peer of mine, and we've talked, and yes, he's got, he's really good. The guy's really good. And he's got a center, a medical center, which he can get right down to the cellular level with you, if you can get to St. Louis. Use some of that good ginger. Yeah, ginger, cayenne, and lemon is a very good drink for helping open up the blood vessels. Anything for autism, non-speaking for a child? Oh, yeah, we'd have to call with that. But number one, make sure it's coconut oil you're putting in food. Coconut oil on the skin. Coconut oil, coconut oil, coconut oil, coconut oil. There's some other things that we could do. I have to talk during consultation. I can't say that live on the air because there would be a challenge to certain systems. Let's see. We're winding down now. We've got a few more minutes. Let's see if I can answer a few more questions. What's a good herb or protocol for loose skin? We can try L-lysine. L-lysine and L-proline are good for collagen. Collagen is what holds cells together. It is the membrane of most of your cells. And when you've lost a lot of weight, you want to tighten up your skin. That's one thing you can do. Okay. Also, bee venom. Bee venom. There's bee venom creams which are used very widely nowadays for helping to loosen up, skin. Bee venom. Okay, any more real questions here? Yeah, somebody asked us, in a previous session, you mentioned an upcoming class for this month. What's the status? We're working on it. This class that we're working on now, wow, it's going to go deep. So be listening for that. That's still being put together. A lot of research and, things go into putting together these classes. So just be patient. Do you still do me to mentorship program? Brianna, I'm not sure what you mean. Am I offering a mentorship program? Not right this minute, but I do consultations and I will do private sessions. And if if you're interested in a VIP weekend here in Atlanta while I'm here for the next couple months, we could do that too. We could meet a group of us and have a private session, or I can even come to you. You take care, the travel and all those type of things, and talk about the value of that, and we could actually do sessions, private and group sessions. Fine hand tremor for elders. How? Yeah, we're going to talk about that, because what's causing the tremor? Is it Parkinson's? Is it a nervous twitch? Is it the myelin sheath that is being eroded? A lot of these questions I need to answer in a consultation. At least do a half an hour consultation if you can. I can give you a lot of private information directly to you, unrestricted. And I'll talk about things that I don't even have, you know. Do we offer a mentorship program? Not directly right now. We will be soon. We're working on it, maybe. I don't know about marula oil. Any Bell's palsy. Once again, we need to talk about the nervous system. We need to talk about the brain, the neurological system. Can't really do that here and give you suggestions. There was a question. Oh, do you use Haritaki? Yes, I use Haritaki. Haritaki is in the total body and the elevated total body program. It is also in a product we create called Lax Ease. Haritaki is good for the colon, the liver, and it's very good for detoxifying on a cellular level. How do I know if the cigar is real? That's not my specialty. Brother Rich is deep into the cigars lately. Man, you might want to hit him up. Okay, bags under the eyes, that shows that their liver or the kidneys are under stress many times. You're not getting enough rest. You also may be dehydrated. And we need to talk about the amount of enzymes in your system. That's going to be another, personal consultation. Okay. What is the best tea to take for energy? I don't know. It depends on what's causing your energy problem. It's hard to give you a simple answer when we have so many toxins and parasites and heavy metals in the system. A lot of times what's eating our energy, what's eating us. In fact, we just did a class that's online now. What's eating you? No, the enemy within. That's what it's called. The enemy within. The enemy within class that we just finished is online right now. And it's a lot of things eating our energy, our activities, how we think, how we feel, how we respond. But usually what's eating us is what we're eating. So we've got to change the way we eat. And that's why doing something like the elevated total body program or the total body program is really good for that. Let me see. There we go. That's the elevated total body program, which helps to detoxify the body on many, 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 many levels. It has most of the vitamins and minerals, and it's working on the systemic parasites that live throughout your body that may be, sucking your energy, draining your life force. Okay. All right. So for those of y'all who are just coming on board, somebody said they just got on. You can go back and watch this, and also, subscribe to our channel and use the discount code, which is NOV1 for 18% off of everything in your cart over $99 or more. And that's until this Sunday at midnight. Okay. Let's see. I've got about 1 minute. Let's see if I can answer another question. Somebody says this. So if how much day 20 UA I use? I'm not sure what we're talking about. We're talking about vitamin D there. How much vitamin D? How do you get a sluggish lymphatic system to flow properly? There's a lymphatic massage that you can do where they do these gentle, movements or rubs on your arms, on your body, but also cleaning the lymphatic system is going to take a really deep detoxification. That elevated total body program is for your lymphatic system, your kidneys, your liver, your spleen, your brain. That mind parasite, the brainwashing parasite, toxoplasma, will keep us from moving forward in many cases and being who we could be. So the elevated total body program is something I would use for those type of things. Okay, I think we're about done. Okay. So let's do this. So go to elevationtime.com, if you're interested in being involved with us. If you're interested in taking things to the next level. If you're interested in being healthier, wealthier, wiser, first detoxify from the past. Detoxify from mass distraction. Take a break from your phone for a certain amount of time. Fast from people. Eat very well. Figure out what works for you. There's no one diet that works for everybody. Figure out what's good for you. ElevationTime.com. That's where we are. If you're interested in a consultation, like we say, you can go to elevationtime.com and you can message us, or you can also hit us up at sales@elevationtime.com and ask a question. If you need a subconscious alignment, we do those too, which helps the two sides of your brain work better and helps to deal with your subconscious mental parasites, which a lot of folks have, which causes them to eat a certain way, act a certain way, mate a certain way, live a certain way. So let's get rid of our mental parasites, physical parasites, and spiritual parasites, and let's eat very well. Remember, the herbs of today were kararu, which is really good for the blood. Malungu, very good for the nervous system. And 5-leaf organostema or jaugulang is very good for our telomeres, for anti-aging, for our vitamins and minerals, and to keep us very focused on moving towards our goals. The three of those together make a formula or a package, I should say. It's not a formula. And let me show it one more time. Okay. This is the trifecta of vitality. Heaven on earth to calm your nerves. Platinum life to give you focus and help you be clear. And the iron essential to keep you strong and courageous. Okay. So that's it for today, y'all. I'd like to say that you've been a wonderful, wonderful audience. We'll see you again possibly next week. We're working on our class, so make sure you're on the email list at elevationtime.com, on the email list, and take advantage of this sale. I wouldn't wait till the holidays are over to begin the process of detoxification, or don't wait till the holiday is over to order your cleanse, because it may take, the postal service is really slow right now. And it takes us up to 7 business days to actually process your order, because most of the things we do are custom. We don't have a lot of products just sitting around. We make them in small batches. So when they're gone, they're gone. So you've got to move quick. Don't wait till the rush. Don't wait till you're sick. Don't wait till you're going through problems. There's the daily maintenance. So if you order now for the holidays, you'll be good. Okay. We'll be doing some classes and workshops around the holidays, so stay with us. Take care of yourself. Remember, you are the only you that you need to take care of. Mind your business and mind your own business. Every day. Take care of yourself first. Thank you very much. I'll see you all soon. Much love. ElevationTime.com. Signing off.